All right, can you guys hear us now? Sorry about that.
Nice.
Perfect. Awesome. So yeah, as I was saying, we'll start with the poop scoop millionaire questions. We'll go through that. And if you guys have other questions, just drop them in the chat and we will go through them one at a time in order. So let's pull this up here. Question number one. At what point did you recognize or recommend for owner operators to step away from operations and hire part-time employees and focus on further growth, when breaking even or having some profit, or even before? Yeah, do you want to talk about that, Levi, since you're the one doing all the stuff?
Yeah, when we first started, it was kind of like late September one year, and the snow hit in October or so, and we kind of got picked up pretty fast, and we hired two full timers at once, actually. That being said, I think if you're kind of scaling up from the beginning and you don't need two people at once, something you should really start thinking about that right around maybe 80 to 100 clients. It depends on how wide your service area is. Like maybe you're pretty wide and you can only do 20 yards a day yourself. That's 100 clients, right? Or maybe you can do 30 a day. That's 150. Commenting on the getting out of the field thing, I think that's really important. And that's something that I didn't kind of learn the hard way, that it is important to get out of the field as the owner operator, because you can replace yourself for 18 to $20 an hour in the field, and you should be working on tasks that are worth $40 an hour, right? So if you're in the field, it's taking away from other things you can be doing to make the, like, working basically on the business, not in the business. So I guess the long story short is I think you should really consider looking into some assistance in the field, maybe around 80 to 100 clients. What do you think, Will?
I think it really depends on your personal situation, and it really comes down to how much money you actually need to make. If you don't need to make any money from your business for a while, or you can even afford to lose money, you can hire people a little bit earlier. But if you got to be making 3, 4, 5 grand, you're going to have to push a little bit harder before you bring on that employee, because your profit's going to drop, obviously, until you can get their route filled up. So that's what I would say. It's pretty much dependent on your personal situation.
Yeah, if you're trying to build a big business, that you absolutely need to get out of the field, because it's so easy just to get constantly dragged back in there. It's a little harder, right, when you have 2 or 3 people, but when you have more staff, it becomes a lot easier. But one of the worst things you can do is just, if you already know, you're like, gosh, I really shouldn't be out here. Like a perfect example of that would be like right now, if you're a smaller operation, you're doing some hiring, maybe you have 2 or 3 or 4 people, and then somehow you just keep getting dragged back into the field. Somebody calls out and you already know you need to hire more people, and it's just put on the back burner. You're just putting a band-aid on the solution. You're not actually fixing it. You should be out of the field, skip the route, and just all you should be doing all day is trying to find somebody to replace that, because it's just a wheel if you just keep caught in it, if you keep getting caught in it, you know.
Yeah, definitely. All right, do you use lead forms or website direct for Facebook ads? So yeah, previously, up until this year, we were running engagement ads, but this year they just decided to take a nosedive, and they don't seem to work very well at all. I think we went through like 300 leads to get like a handful of customers. So we're testing both right now, but pretty much all throughout this year, we've been running direct to website. For a couple of reasons. One, we redid our website. We swapped up the onboarding tool a little bit. We're collecting people's phone numbers. So we are getting a pretty decent CAC of people just signing up directly on the website, but we also have the text message remarketing. And then we took it a step further, and we actually hired a full-time sales rep as well. So anytime somebody puts their phone number in and they don't end up signing up, we have our sales rep that's just on it, calling them within a couple of minutes, trying to figure out why they didn't get on the schedule and seeing if we can get them booked. So for us, that's been a pretty smooth process. But I would say if you don't have your website 100% dialed in, there's so many things that can go wrong, whether it doesn't load fast, or if you don't have enough social proof, or it's not optimized correctly. There's a lot of things that can go wrong. If you're just using Facebook lead forms, pretty much gets rid of that entire issue. So because people probably don't want to spend as much money as we did on a website.
Yeah, the cool thing too, like William said, is we hired that salesperson who somebody visited the website, they got a quote, like an instant quote, and then they didn't sign up. Being able to recapture, we already paid to get them to send to the website, right? So being able to have somebody to actually recapture them and actually try to sign them up right there, because it's impressive too, right? Nowadays it's not really a thing. I think the last time that's ever happened was we ordered dash cams, and we bought those, and I submitted like a quote online for our fleet or whatever, and like within 60 seconds they called me, and I was really impressed, because that doesn't happen very often. So responsiveness is really professional, and helps close deals a lot more. I think I think he's getting like 3 a day for us, just something like 60 to 90 clients a month, just for stuff we already paid for that they didn't sign up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely worth it. Should your daily Facebook ad spend amount be determined by the population of your service area? My answer is kind of. Really, the things I look at is your cost per acquisition, like how much you're actually paying to sign up a customer. That's good. I mean, you can keep ramping up your ad spend like as far as it'll go. With that in mind, if you are in a smaller population, you're going to run into ad fatigue a lot quicker. So if your frequency is between maybe 3 and 7, you're going to see your performance start to dip off a little bit. And you're going to need to change up your creative more. So it can impact it, but I just really be looking at your CAC. If you have a low cost per acquisition, just continue to scale that up as much as you can. But you will obviously be capped at some point.
The advantage of that too, if you're in a smaller area and it's working and your CAC is good, like it's a lot easier to saturate the market. Like it really is simple. If you have 100,000 people and you have X amount of budget and they've all just seen it, it's way easier to saturate an entire market if there's less people, which is nice too. It's pros and cons.
Yeah, definitely. How do you guys handle employee pay during times of long-lasting snow? Anytime we miss work days due to snow, cover, extreme cold, I still pay all my team members for the day. I'm beginning to question that decision. Do you have a similar policy in place or something totally different? I'd love to hear from any other scoopers with employees as well. Yeah, I'll let Levi go into that, but my answer is no, we don't. I think our payroll is over 100 grand this month. So that definitely adds up more and more as you get bigger.
So Spokane is a perfect situation for your question because we get like 48 inches a year of snow, and sometimes it can sit on the ground for 3-4 months at a time. It's 6 inches just staying there, right? So in the wintertime, we just do the best we can. Everybody comes out, but if it's like less than 15 degrees, a lot of times we get wind here, and it's kind of like a wind chill. It feels like 0 degrees. So if it's less than 15 degrees, or if it just snows more than 2-3 inches overnight, we're just going to skip, and then we don't pay the employees. They just get the day off. That's kind of our policy in a nutshell for you.
Yeah, but during the spring also, when the snow's melting off, we let people make it work overtime and whatnot if they want to, just because we have so much backlog work to do. So it does kind of even out. But especially at our level, if we got 15 to 20 scoopers out, like that's thousands and thousands of dollars a day in payroll that we're not getting revenue for. So we would literally go out of business if we did that.
Yeah. Also, probably every winter we maybe skip like 10 times. It's not like super crazy over 3-4 months. It's maybe 10, 12 times. So we're not skipping like a whole month or something like that. So I've never really had a complaint on it. Nobody's really asked. They're just like, sweet, I had the day off.
Yep. All right. I know there's a classroom section on Sweep and Go, and there's a whole Sweep and Go page devoted to all the plugins. What plugins can truly wait until you are 20 to 50 customers deep? Technically, all of them can probably wait until you're 20 to 50 customers deep. I mean, even at that point, you technically could probably be running without a CRM. You just got to look at what you're spending your time on and kind of reverse engineer it from there. Like if you could buy an app for $100 that saves you like 20 hours a month, you obviously should probably do that. Same with looking at the app store integrations. So I know they have like Easy Text. I know they have like the MailChimp. And a lot of those, I mean, yeah, they're great to have, but a lot of times you can even wait a little bit longer on those as well, because if you're just sending out like a review automation to 10 people a month, like you could just manually do that and save the money because it's only going to take you like 15 minutes a month. So just really look at your time and time savings on that.
I think I see a lot of new business get caught up with like the automations. Like I get a lot of messages and they're like, hey, how do I automate this, this, and this? Well, if you look at it, there's only like 5 people you need to get a review from, right? So it's nice to have that set up right off the bat, like William said. But the most important thing is how do I get clients off the start?
Yeah, people focusing on the wrong thing is a big reason why people fail out of the industry quick, because they want to be fancy and they got to have the perfect website and they have to have all their automation set up and their CRM has to be totally dialed in. You got to have their truck wraps and they got to have their logo just perfect. Like that stuff really matters. All that matters is actually getting money from customers, and those things just facilitate making that easier in the future. So yeah, go make money. Don't worry about the other stuff until you start making money.
I think what happens too is it's easy naturally to focus on that stuff, but because it's the idea of getting clients and sales is so scary, right? It's like I don't even know the first step to do all that. So it's natural to be able to think that way and just focus on other stuff like fancy business cards and having the right design and stuff. It's because we're kind of avoiding the tough stuff, which is I need to hit the pavement and get the clients.
Yeah, 100%. We're getting a lot of contact from people interested, but no conversion. So our ads are working, but how do we convert them? Yeah, probably need a little bit more information from you, but I think definitely having a good script and also being extremely responsive and quick are going to be the two things that are going to drive the highest, impact as far as your conversion rate goes. As I was kind of alluding to earlier, if you're running like those engagement ads, those seem to not be working well anymore. So if that's what you're running, I might consider switching to like a lead form or something else. Getting people's phone numbers, shooting them text messages are going to be a lot more responsive that way than pretty much any other method from what we found, other than just having them sign up directly on the website, which is my favorite.
But yeah, if you're getting interest and you're having conversations, I would really take a look at your script and what you're saying or what you're copy pasting or what you're texting, because there seems to be some sort of gap there. Like William said, if you're not very responsive, then they're just not going to get back to you.
Yeah, and just looking at other stuff too, like if your pricing's like way out of whack and you're trying to charge like $80 a week or something like that. There could be all sorts of things that play into that you'll want to look at, but definitely response time, and then also just testing out things as well. You're not stuck to just like one message. You can A/B test it to see if I open with this message, does that convert better versus the other message? So especially if you're getting a lot of leads in, just trying to figure those things out to get people further down the funnel.
Yeah, and one more tip too is depending on what your script part looks like or copy paste, if you're just copy pasting a whole wall of text or something, it's just risky, right? They're just not going to read it. They're not going to respond. So you want to keep it short and sweet and just get the answers that you need to be able to give them a price.
Definitely. Next question. I want to know about going from $50,000 to $100,000 a month. Is it as simple as hiring 4 more scoopers, 1 office staff, and doubling ad spend? Or is there more that goes into it? Is it harder to get customers once you reach a certain point? So I will say kind of the back end of that. I think it actually gets easier to get customers once you reach a certain point, because you have a lot of previous customers that sign back up. You're going to have more reviews. You're going to be more established. You're going to have more trucks on the road. So you're going to have more customers. It's going to be easier to get customers. But then you're going to be dealing with churn at levels that you wouldn't expect, even like a normal like 5% monthly churn. You have 2,000 customers. That's 100 people canceling every single month. So you got to be able to replenish that. So fighting against that churn is basically going to be your biggest enemy as you are scaling up from 50 to 100K or even beyond that. As far as, is it as simple as just hiring 4 more scoopers and office staff? We usually have 1 office staff per 1,000 clients. So you probably don't even need to hire another office staff. Maybe a supplemental VA, or if you're helping out in the office, would be fine. But at the end of the day, it really is just a numbers game and a math equation. So yes, it is as simple, but actually executing gets a little bit more difficult, especially at scale. You're going to have more customer complaints. You're going to have more overhead. You'll probably need an office. You got more capital expenditures with all the cars and insurance, and you got to make sure they don't get crashed. And you got maintenance. There's just like a lot of other things that start coming up that you don't really think about when you only have a couple hundred customers. So I don't know your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm just kind of echoing William here. He nailed it on the head. I would say, like he said too, everything's just more magnified. I mean, you're going to get more call outs from employees, and less people are going to, you're just going to have some staffing stuff you're going to run into. But at the end of the day, like he said, it's a math equation. You're going to need a couple leads. You might not need a field manager per se, but you're going to want like maybe 2 team leads, and you're going to, like he said, 1 office person should be able to take care of this stuff, especially if you don't get to know where you're at. Yeah, like you said, it really does come down to a math equation, but you're going to run into little things that you didn't think you were going to have issues with. It's like every little problem that you have in the business, if you think, oh, it's such a small problem, as you get bigger, it actually becomes a big deal. Like, so if you see a problem that's even small now, you definitely want to take care of it. Like, oh, I don't have an employee handbook. Oh, that's fine. I only have 3 people working for me. Or, oh, like, I don't have any sort of write-up forms or documents or standard policies in place. Might not, it kind of does matter when you have employees, but especially when you have 10 running around, it becomes a big deal.
Yeah. Well, especially at that point too, going from 50 to 100K, that's to the point where your role as an operator and a business owner is going to change as well, because you might be the one answering the phones and doing all the quotes. Like, you're not going to be able to talk to all your customers at that point, because it's just going to be too big of a scale. So you need to make sure you have good systems. You need to make sure you have good hiring processes. probably going to have to start building kind of your lower level of management or maybe field supervisors at that point. So it is going to look different. You are going to have more overhead. Your profit margin will probably go down a bit, but that's what it takes if you want to kind of grow into that 7-figure plus range.
Mm-hmm.
How do you track your vehicles, air tags, something else? We just did that.
Yeah, we have dash cams. We use something called Motive. We also have company gas cards, and it's kind of sweet because if somebody quits or whatever, instead of having to order new credit cards with people's names on it, there's just no name on it, but it's assigned to somebody, and then we can basically just take the card and give it to the new person. It gets swapped out, and then they have like a daily limit of $70 if they need to get gas. And then they have a nice dashboard where you can track everything, driver performance. If they can take the truck home if they want after their probationary period. So we also have like geofencing. It'll shoot us a quick email if somebody was driving it when they weren't supposed to be. Just basic stuff that makes life a little easier.
Yeah, that was the next question too. How long until you let your staff take the vehicle home?
After 90 days, we give them the option. That's kind of our probationary period. That's also when they can enroll in benefits the first of the month following 90. So kind of all around that time, we sit down with them and let them know what all of their options are with that.
And then why do that instead of just letting them pick them up from the office? Is this a strategy? So marketing wise, I like having our trucks out on the road in different neighborhoods. So I think that is a big perk because all of our trucks are fully wrapped. A big reason why we have employees versus 1099 or something else. And then it's also just more efficient rather than somebody like driving into the office and then having to drive the truck home and then clock out. Like it's just a lot more efficient for them to just drive home when they're done. So
yeah, it helps your payroll too. The way we do it, if you take, like, let's say they come to the office every day, grab the truck. Okay, they clock in right when they hit the office, get the keys. That's work related, right? And then when they drop the truck off for the day, they clock out. If we have them take the car home or the truck home, they don't clock in at their house, right? They don't get paid to drive to work, so they clock in at their first house, right? And then after they're done with their last house, they clock out. So you kind of save money on back and forth, right? Because they might have to drive. They might have a route 30 minutes away, and then they get paid for the 30-minute drive. Makes sense.
Yep. Cool. All right, moving over to YouTube now. How do you price your commercial property managers on a 100-unit building? So the way we price commercial is based on the stations. If we're installing the stations, we have a set price. If we're maintaining the stations, we have a set price depending on how many they have. The more they have, the bigger discount volume we get. But probably the biggest price driver is going to be the common area cleaning, and we price that out per square foot. So one scooper can clean about 1 acre per hour. So we actually have a calculator in PSM. You can just plug in the area and how many stations and get an instant price. So that's kind of in a nutshell how you would do it. Just basically whatever hourly rate you want to make times however many acres you are cleaning. It's kind of a rough way to price out commercial properties, regardless of how many units there are.
Mm-hmm.
What do you guys do about runny poop?
So our rake does a really good job of just getting the diarrhea piles. But that being said, there's going to be a little bit of residue left over, like just like a little wet looking thing. And customer, I never had a complaint on that before. As long as it looks like we grabbed the pile, they're fine with that. The only time I ran into problems is our rake doesn't do a fantastic job at patios. So if there's a bunch of runny diarrhea, I kind of just have a hoe and I just lightly scrape it and pick it up in the bucket. And then if I feel like the cleanup just wasn't, if it just looks not great with the piles, I just let them know. Communication's key. And then I let them know just to hose down the patio if they have time, and that'll fix all of that.
Mm-hmm.
I've never had a complaint in grass though before. The rake does a good job of picking all that up.
Yeah. What about rocks?
Rocks, we do. The rake does a pretty good job in the rocks. That being said, I've talked to some companies for if you have like a bunch of these river rocks or just rocks in general. Some people actually just use their hands to pick it up. They like triple glove and then they just grab the piles and move on. Apparently it's a lot faster. I'm actually looking into that myself because we have a lot of rocks here. I find it funny when you have some super rich house, pristine yard, and then it's just like the perfect grass, right? And then there's just like a really small corner in the yard. The dog only poops in the rocks. I'm like, really? That's awesome.
Yes. Doing my due diligence before starting this business. Comps in my area are only charging $16, $17 per visit. This will make it difficulty for me to do business at that price. Your suggestions? I would not worry about what they are charging really whatsoever. I still think the vast majority of people don't know our service exists, and most of the time they'll just sign up with the first company that they hear about. We have competitors charging in that price range, and we literally have like 5 to 10 times more clients than all of them. You're just gonna have more money to reinvest into marketing, more money to reinvest into hiring better employees, getting better systems, rapid vehicles. So charge what you need to charge. I would say kind of the minimum I would recommend is kind of that $80, $85 a month, depending on where you are in the country. Our Seattle location, we're over 120 now just for scooping on average, so no add-on services.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like close to $30 a week.
Yeah, I also think there's so much more that factors into with competition, right? I mean, like William just said, we charge like 30-40% more and we have 10 times as many clients. I think not getting caught up on that because there's so many more factors that come into play, like you said, responsive time, like who has the best systems, who's more responsive. Does somebody know that if they call in, you're going to answer the phone, you have a fully staffed office? It's way more than just that. Like we get calls all the time from other companies. Not going to drop any names, but they say, hey, my guy just doesn't show up half the time, or blah, 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 blah. I've heard good things about you guys. You know, what do you charge? And then they're like, well, that's a lot more than the other company that I'm with right now. And then I just let them know, hey, we guarantee our work, we stand by our work, and then try to investigate a little bit. Well, what makes you shop around in the first place? You know, is it a quality issue? Is it? And they'll tell you the reason why, and then you just need to reinforce that you're the solution to their answer. So happens all the time. I get calls all the time. They want to switch over.
Yeah. You hire 1099 or W-2 employees. Everybody that works here now is a full-time W-2 employee. We have some weekend work that is also W-2 employee, part-time people, just for the spring rush. But yeah, everybody's a full employee with benefits and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
What is the recommended deodorizer that you guys use, and can you explain the application process of it? We don't use deodorizer. Actually, we don't sell odor control as a service. We do disinfect all our equipment.
Mm-hmm.
This is something that we are probably going to add this spring. So obviously there's Whiskey Wash, and then we're testing out a couple others that hopefully we will be releasing out to everybody soon. And there'll be a discount for everybody for either product in Poop Scoop Millionaire, which is cool.
Mm-hmm.
So sorry I can't answer that question better right now, but I will be able to probably by the end of next week, hopefully. The dominant company in my area charges $54 for one dog weekly. The local competitors are around the same rate. What would you suggest charging for one dog weekly in this scenario? I think that's pretty close to what Chris was saying earlier. It's a pretty close price point. I still think you need to charge what you need to charge. Maybe not going for that 120 a month on average, but you're definitely going to want to be in that kind of 80 a month average, which really is only a couple dollars a week difference. And if you're pricing customers, you're giving them the weekly or the per visit price versus the monthly price. Most of the time, they're not even going to notice like a $2 change. So at least from our experience.
Yeah, because I mean, if you think about it, like what are buyers actually when they see it on the screen? $18 a week, $20 a week, $22 a week. It's kind of right in there, right? And they're thinking, well, I'm paying my kid $20 anyways, and then they're going to show up every time. So that I think it really starts to matter maybe after $25. They're like, oh, it's over $100, you know. But right around there, I mean, I don't think anybody's going to flinch compared to 18 to 21 bucks a week.
Yeah. Obviously, every market's different, so I probably start there, and then if you're not getting signups, just you can maybe do an A/B test at different price points. But at some point, it's like literally not worth doing business for if you can't make enough money. So, it's something to keep in mind. When expanding and trying to fill routes, do you do one route at a time or try to fill multiple routes at once? So when we open new locations, we're opening like new locations. Like our second location is like a 5-hour drive away from our first location. And in that case, we basically try to grab whatever service area that we can. It's usually about a 45-minute drive from one end to the other. Trying to get as much territory as possible. And then we want to be able to drive to each daily route within about 15 minutes or less from one side to the other. And we're basically trying to grab the whole thing and just fill up all the routes as we go. So when you're first starting off, it's going to hurt your profitability, but it's going to be a lot cheaper to acquire customers because Facebook and Google, they're scraping the best leads depending on your budget first. So that's kind of how we do it. It just depends on your goals also. If you just want to have a small location with maybe 100, couple hundred customers, then you can pick a smaller service area and fill out a route at a time. But if you want to have 1,000+ customers in a location, you definitely will want to go for the bigger service area play.
Yeah, like William said too, like when we started, I was all over. Like we had a strict service area, which was in the city limits. We went on the Google Maps and clicked on satellites and looked for all the dense clusters of houses. If it was in the mountains, it didn't make sense to go to. But at first, I mean, I was driving 15, 16, 17 minutes between each yards just because I was kind of all over. As you first start, it's just inefficient, right? You got a customer up here and then you have one in the middle of downtown. But once you fill that in, that's when it starts to get really good.
Yep. And then, if you're just talking about expanding, we've also expanded service areas too. We popped out like little small towns and things like that. When we do that, we'll actually pre-advertise there for a couple weeks, and we'll usually have like at least a partially full route before we even get there. That's how we like to do it if we're expanding to a connected service area or slightly expanding a service area. If you have an employee who is bringing in clients, what would commission look like? I would say look at what you're actually paying in your marketing to acquire a customer, and I'd be willing to pay somebody that. I'd rather our employees get that money rather than like Facebook or Google or something like that. But there's all sorts of different kind of commission structures that you can do. What do we got?
Yeah, so for us on day one of training, I let them know because it's very common, like you're saying, if you're cleaning a yard, and then the neighbor comes up, hey, what do you charge? Or if you're getting gas at the gas station, somebody else comes up, they see the truck wrapped or they see the magnets, they want to know. It happens all the time. So the best thing I do is I don't have to expect them to memorize rate sheets and stuff. What I have them do on Sweep and Go, or if you have a platform where your website has the instant quote tool, I say, that's a great question. Let's find out together. Whip out the phone and say, go right to the website, or just have a tab that's already pulled up right there and say, how many dogs do you have? Or all the quote questions. And then you can show them the price. Say, it looks like your estimate is 20 bucks a week. I'm actually here on Fridays. We'll make sure you get the on the way text when we come. You guys don't have to be home when we clean. A little bit of selling, and then say, well, what do you think? And then if they want to sign up right there, they can punch in their information. And then we give every employee a coupon code inside Sweep and Go. You can actually we can see where the client came from basically. And then we pay them $100 per sign up. So you can make some good money as an employee for sure. And then once a month, it's paid monthly. So I'll have the office check at the end of each month to see how many redemptions or how many clients each employee got us. And then they get bonused out.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you're paying somebody $100 for a referral or something, they'll probably be pretty happy. So will you, because those clients are usually worth a couple of grand over the lifetime.
Yeah.
Okay. Should not skip anybody. What are some tactics for increasing route density? Yes, advertising more, just in general. So having your tight service area, not going beyond that, and just advertising more. That's eventually going to keep filling in the routes. If you're in a good neighborhood and you're driving through it all the time, putting up yard signs strategically in those neighborhoods is going to help boost the route density. And then you could also use things like direct mail, and you can target like the neighbors of the people that are next to your clients. I think Dope Marketing has a data integration that's able to tell you what the 5 closest houses are of people that have a dog or whatever. So that could be a good way to boost route density as well. It really just comes down to advertising more. So you're going to get more clients. People are slowly going to fill in over time.
There's something called 3 rounds too, in I guess marketing they call it, where so like for example, we have a route, and then like William said, targeting the neighbors is excellent. So if you have some door hangers, have your technicians, as soon as they finish a yard, maybe on the 3 houses to the left and 3 houses to the right of your own client, just put a door hanger up once a month. Maybe the first week of every month, your whole team knows to throw those out. You're already right there anyway, so it's not like it takes forever. You're not going to get rich off that, but you will get some signups.
Yep. Is poop scooping good in places where it doesn't snow? Yeah, I think so. It doesn't really snow in Seattle, and we're kind of on the same trajectory as our first location. So I think we'll be hitting the 85K plus MRR in the next month or two. So that'll be our second $1 million plus location, and it doesn't snow there. There's also a lot of other pooper scoopers. I know somebody in California that's doing 7 figures, somebody in Dallas doing 7 figures, somebody in New Mexico that's doing 7 figures. So we're close to 7 figures. So it's definitely can work wherever you're at. It's just going to be less dramatic, I guess. So I call it peak poop pain season when all the snow melts here. You won't necessarily have that, but you're also going to be more consistent month after month because you're not going to have that crazy rush where you basically double in size in 3 months and then contract, and then double in size in 3 months and then contract. It's going to be a lot more steady growth. That's kind of what we've seen.
Yeah, not to mention like I'm coaching somebody like 2 months ago. They're in like a really hot climate. They got like 120 clients that month. So I don't think it matters, like William said. And like if you do get a ton of snow, Buffalo, Spokane, where's Minnesota, you'll probably get like 3/4 of your clients in like 3-4 months, the first 3-4 months of the year. Whereas if you're in somewhere like Texas, maybe you'll get 40-50% of your clients during that period.
Mm-hmm.
So it's still gonna be busy.
Yep. Have we ever approached the subject of accounting on PSM? I've been struggling to lock in an accountant that is familiar with this business and eager to take on a small business. No, we haven't really talked about accounting too much in Poop Scoop Millionaire or really anywhere else. I've actually been on the hunt to try to find a really good bookkeeper and a really good tax person to bring in as a vendor for the group. So that's something I'm still hunting down, and hopefully we'll have one soon. I've talked to a lot of them. So I'll bring one in as soon as I can once I find somebody that I think is going to be a good fit for everybody, because I'd rather not have one than have one that is bad. So you promote sanitation or only deodorizer? How do you go about it? All we do is we disinfect our equipment with kind of great disinfectant. We don't sell odor control or deodorizer or anything like that. That in mind, it is something we plan to probably roll out this year. And as far as promoting it goes, we're going to just cross sell it to our existing customers. We'll probably send out surveys. We'll call up the customers. We'll do email campaigns. We'll add it to our onboarding process on the website. So when new people sign up, they can see that there. But one thing I will say about this, we're not going to add another service unless it makes us more money than our existing service, because it's a lot easier for us just to go out and get another 100 scooping companies than to add a whole nother service. So that's kind of what I have to say about that. I don't know what your thoughts are on adding odor control.
Yeah, we've been really really specific on adding stuff like William said. Because we just passed 4 years in business, and it took us like 2.5 years just to actually like launch commercial services. We were very picky because there's so much business to grab on the residential side. We just want to be the best at one thing, right? And so over time, we've definitely slowly added some things that we thought were a good idea. But I'm cool with deodorizer soon, because I feel like we kind of dialed in the residential stuff. We have access to a large client base, but like William said, it has to be it has to make money for sure. But you know, and you want to be very careful when you drop stuff to your customers all the time. It wants to be like really valuable services. You don't just want to blast them with everything every 4 times a year. You want to pick good stuff that's highly sought after.
Yeah, you only have so many times to ask your customers to buy stuff before they get mad if you don't provide a good product. So
yeah.
Awesome. What's the toughest thing about Facebook engagement leads? Setting them up is really easy. Probably the toughest part right now is just filtering through all of the junk messages. So I don't know if Facebook's just optimizing for people that have fat fingers that want to click on engagement ads, or what, or they're pretty like bloodthirsty when it comes to sending messages to people. So it used to be really good, but this year we've noticed the cost per acquisition has gone up considerably, and our time to actually process those leads has gone up considerably also. So next best option would be lead forms. If you have a really good website and it's really streamlined, then sending people back to your website can work well as well. But it's a little bit trickier how much you like really invest a lot of time and money into your website. What do you do if you get to the house and the dog had diarrhea? How do you try picking it up and washing it off?
Kind of ties in with the last question we had about the diarrhea, but we'll just do the best we can, right? A lot of times with our rake, we can get most of it, but there's going to be some stuff left behind, like a little residue or something. It's not piles, it's just a little bit of ick right there. So like I said before, you just communicate with the customer. If you feel like the only times I really feel like, I should probably talk to them is when it's on like a concrete patio. They really should just wash off the hose. I cleaned up the piles, but it's just messy. So they need to just wash it off with the hose if they want to.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess you could probably just do it yourself, but you'd want to get their permission first. You say, hey, do you mind if I use your hose real quick? I just want to make sure I did a good job for you.
Mm-hmm.
But I've never had anybody. Actually, one time I've had to come back and I just hose it off for them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What questions are you asking on Facebook lead forms? What happens after a lead submits a form? So we're actually setting this up right now. I usually try to start my lead forms with collecting the least amount of information possible just to get more lead flow through. And then if we notice the quality is bad, then we'll add more questions to kind of vet people out. But right now we're just asking for first name, number of dogs, zip code, and phone number. And then basically what's going to happen once somebody submits a lead form, we'll collect that information and then we'll have an automation that sends them a text message. We're going to test out 2 different approaches. So the first, we're going to send them a text message that says, hey, is this XYZ? I just want to make sure I got the right number before sending you the quote. And then the other text message is just going to be sending them the quote. So we're going to see what works better. And the way we're going to send the quote is we're going to send all 4 options. So the weekly, biweekly, once a month price, all at the same time, and let them choose their option. Basically the same way we ran engagement ads for the last couple of years. We're just going to move people over to their text messaging app of choice. What channel do you follow up on? Email, SMS, or phone? So we follow up with SMS and phone. Honestly, I've just been lazy and haven't done much email. SMS and phone also converts like a lot higher. You need less contacts to get a customer. But with that being said, if you have the time and ability, it's definitely worth doing all 3. Another reason why we just do SMS and phone is because I want to make our lead forms as short as possible. So if you're asking for email and you're asking for phone number, less people are going to convert in general. You got $300 in one shot. Facebook ads or yard signs?
Ooh.
I might do neither.
Yeah.
If I had $300, probably.
How many yard signs is that?
It's not a lot.
50?
No, yeah, it's not a lot because you don't get the volume discount if you only got $300. Yeah, if I had $300 and I needed to make money, I'd almost rather spend that on building relationships like dog kennels or like adoption shelters. Maybe go volunteer there and then see if you can get some kind of paperwork in their adoption paper and then offer some kind of donation for anybody that signs up. Because you can get thousands of flyers for $300. So that'd probably be the route that I went, or using that to get some trifolds and try to get some commercial accounts because they pay a little bit better. And then taking that money and doing Facebook ads. I do Facebook ads before yard signs. If it came down to those 2, because a lot of people will see your yard sign and then they'll Google you. And if you're not online, there's a good chance that they just call one of your competitors instead of you. So, I mean, that even happened to us. We had a competitor that had billboards put up and their Google profile didn't work. They didn't have much of a social media presence. And we ended up getting all the customers from the billboard that they put
They're
up.
like, hey, I saw your billboard. I'm like, oh, thanks.
What billboard are you talking about? Oh, okay. Yep. All right. Hey guys, I'm from South Africa and the poop scooping industry isn't a thing here yet. How do I go about introducing you to people that exist, then posting on groups and receiving negative comments?
You're going to run into that, and that's cool. Putting South Africa on the map there. Even like when we started, I would say it still happens today, but when they see us online, you're probably getting the, wow, you shouldn't even have a dog if you can't pick up after it, or all that stuff, right? So I think there's just a natural stigma in the industry, but that as more and more of these companies pop up, education is key, right? As you get sensitized to more of these things, as they open up, it's going to become less and less of an issue. Like I'm sure people had a problem with, I'm trying to think of some service right now. Maybe people thought Uber was stupid. They're like, why would anybody ever do that? There's taxis, or something. Like there's always going to be the haters, but just focus on the people that are actually interested in buying your service. Mm-hmm. That's the best we can do. What I will say though, when we started, when we got our first truck wrap, I was driving around in that thing and people would point and laugh, like, oh, what a stupid service that is, or this is so funny, right? But now when I'm driving around town, I haven't had that happen in 2 years. So it kind of goes to show that people are used to it. They've seen it before, and they're just like, whatever, it's a pooper scooper service.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so especially when you're first starting off in our area, people didn't really know that it was a service, even though there have been some service providers. So you really need to find ways to get in front of people. So like Google is probably not going to work very well if there's no search volume. So Facebook groups, truck wraps, yard signs, things like that are going to be your friend that can kind of introduce the service. Especially this industry, like it has a tendency to go viral because people find it funny or interesting or kind of unique. So having good graphics and things like that online is definitely going to help you out.
Yeah, and the good news about haters, right? I guess per se, you're getting in front of people, right? So let's say this person thinks it's so stupid. They're gonna go tell their friend. They're gonna be like, "Oh, Sally, guess what I just saw today? This stupid thing. I'm like, it's so stupid. It's a pooper scooper service. Who would use that?" And then that's in the back of her head. And then maybe she tells somebody else, and they actually want the service.
Mhm.
So word spreads, right?
Yep, for sure. Use tongs for getting poop from the rocks.
Tongs.
Less money on gloves.
Nice.
All right.
I'll set a
We'll
note.
have to test it. We'll have to do all sorts of tests.
Like the food tongs, or like what kind of tongs?
Like barbecue tongs?
Yeah. Let me know. Drop in the comments.
Exactly. Don't worry about other companies. Just search for pricing. Going through pricing for my area now. I'm pricing based off 95% gross margin and pushing value. I would say that you need to include your labor in your gross margin. So it's probably going to be 30% less than that. But as far as bags and equipment, it's almost nothing. But definitely include labor because that is a cost of fulfilling the service. Have you heard the only Poop Scoop song that's out called Scoop Man by Ray the Great? I have not heard it. Maybe I have, but I do not recall. Somebody sent us a song the other day. That could have been you.
Yeah.
I'm a youth pastor in my area and have students who would like to work. How would you suggest paying them per house, or do they do hourly? Our employees right now, we pay hourly, but we're moving everybody to a pay for performance model based on the revenue they actually generate. For you, I don't know. Yeah, it might depend on their age and if there's any specific laws around that. I probably have to look into that a little bit more. Hourly is easy, but obviously if you pay people per yard or by performance, they're going to do a better job.
Not to mention, if you don't have a ton of clients and there's a bunch of drive time, you're gonna have to pick a specific price. Maybe it's for us. Maybe it's $6 a yard. It might be $13 a yard for you, or I'm not sure. And then it just depends too. They might not be able to make enough money based on how many clients you have to fulfill the service itself.
So, yeah, but you can probably go either way. You're just gonna have to be strategic about it.
Yeah.
Moving to a place 3 hours away in mid-June, would it make sense to just wait till I move to start the business, or is there a plan you would recommend if I wanted to start now? I would say getting all your basics together, getting all your equipment, getting your branding, all that put together. And then 2 weeks to a month before you actually move, you can start advertising. Maybe a month out or 6 weeks out, you can kind of drop some teasers and some free Facebook posts and some things like that. And then 2 weeks before you get there, you can start really advertising heavy. You can have a decent little route built up before you even get there, and you just tell people there's a wait list. You can start on XYZ date. That's how we enter new markets.
Mm-hmm.
What do you guys think are the best areas to scoop? Poor, mid, rich neighborhoods? We have a lot of clients in all sorts of neighborhoods, which was kind of surprising to me. We have some of the sketchiest parts of towns are our busiest routes. I don't know why some people don't even have yards. They're just like dirt patches, and they hire us. So
I think a common mistake is to this is a rich person service, or this is for the affluent. I wouldn't get caught up in that. You'd be surprised. I used to sell caskets, and I used to work for a cemetery, and I got a lead one time, and they sent me to a trailer park, and because the other lady didn't want it, and I sold $50 grand worth of stuff in one appointment. So you just never know until you get out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd more so focus on the route density and looking for houses that are right next to each other that have small yards. That's probably what I would look at more than the demographics.
Mm-hmm.
All right, looking in Arizona, business is picking up. Awesome. You started a brand new, and you're going to start posting ads this weekend. What would you guys include? The Wizzy Wash as an option, or just focus on scooping? I don't know. It's probably it depends on our goals. Yeah. So if we want to, the way I always think about adding on extra services, also if you can get clients really easily, you should just stick to one service. If you have a hard time getting clients, you need to make more money, and then it makes more sense to offer different services. So that's kind of my viewpoint on it. I probably just scoop. We're not even doing wishy-wash right now, so
Yeah, like William said, it depends on your goals. Are you trying to make $5,000 a month off this, 10 grand a month, 50 grand a month? I think if I were to do it again, I don't think I would offer personally. There's no wrong answer here, but I don't think I would do two things at once. I would just focus on the scooping.
Mhm. Yeah, unless I just wanted like 100 customers on a super tight route or something like that.
Yeah.
Then we might do that. What's a good average ticket price for owner operators? I'm assuming you're referring to customers, what they're paying you. I'd probably treat it the exact same as if you had a company, you want to be priced like you have employees and they're doing the work and you still got to make a profit on top of that. So it's kind of that $80 minimum range. If you can get closer to 90, 100, $110 average ticket, that's going to be better, obviously. All right, the higher you can get it, the better.
Yeah, if you have a couple employees and it's turnkey, your margin's probably going to be around 30 to 40%. As you get bigger a little bit, it'll be compressed more, 25, 30%.
Yeah. The other thing to keep in mind too, if you're always going to just be an owner operator, you're going to hit capacity at some point, and that's the easiest way to give yourself a raise is just to raise the prices. So if you can't service more clients, you're capped out at 150 or whatever it might be, just raise your prices. That way, every time you hit capacity, the worst clients will drop off, and then you'll just get new, better clients that are willing to pay you more money, and you will make more money yourself. So life's good. Do your employees carry pepper spray for aggressive dogs?
No, but it's been on my mind thinking about what to do. Somebody had a great post in Poop Scoop Millionaire. They mentioned dog whistles or something along the nature of that, like a loud whistle. I'd rather do something like that. That would work. I'd have to look into the right product and stuff. I don't know if dog whistles even work. I've never used one, but something like that might be a better option. They could just hang it right around their neck, right? They just, if they ever need to real quick, they'll do that. So that might be an option. I've actually been looking into that.
If you're not in the Poop Scoop Millionaire group on school, you should be. Come be part of something big. Much love from Duty Hounds. Appreciate it. Thank you for the shout out.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Other thing you guys should check out if you want to be part of something big is our Scoop conference coming up in May. Just go to scoopcon.com. It's gonna be me, Levi, are flying in all sorts of people from New York, and Erica is coming. It's gonna be fun. I'm literally chartering a private boat for people that want to come. So it's gonna be a good time up in Coeur d'Alene. By seeing, sorry, I clicked the accident.
Yeah.
Solid poop is the worst thing in the world, but it does stink. Yes. Best way to receive and showcase reviews. So best place to get your reviews is going to be on Google. By far, Google's the place you're going to want to get your reviews. As far as receiving them, we use Nice Job right now. So we just have an integrated with Sweep and Go. Every time we get a new client, it puts them in the review generation sequence. They get a text message and a series of emails. They sign up at any point along the way. It takes them off of the sequence so they're not getting spammed or anything like that. And we do have a community discount in Poop Scoop Millionaire. I think it's like 20% off or something now. So something to check out. As far as showcasing reviews, obviously Google's going to showcase them, and then people either just call us directly from the Google profile, or if they do hit our website, I think we have a live feed that automatically pulls in all our reviews so people can see they're legit. And we also have, we're A/B testing on our quote page, showing reviews there versus not showing reviews versus showing a video. So that's another place that we have them integrated as well.
Yeah, and something like 90% of people trust Google reviews they see as much as like a recommendation from a friend or a family member nowadays. So the cool thing about the Google too is, and I know it does really well for a lot of people, because they actually had intent. Like they searched dog waste service, dog poop cleanup near me, and if they see those reviews, there's a very good chance if they inquire, they're going to convert because there was maximum intent.
Mm-hmm. Is there anything that you guys are looking to learn about at Poop Scoop Millionaire Conference in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho in May? For us, we're putting on the conference. We're bringing in a lot of awesome speakers. We got some like national authors that are coming in. We got people that have exited their businesses for a lot of money. My personal interest, and something I'll be speaking a little bit on, is just really building a business that's actually worth owning, how you can increase your enterprise value. Those are the things that I'm particularly interested in, but I'm mostly interested in just meeting everybody in the industry. I mean, people are flying in from all over. I think somebody might be flying in from the UK, Canada, we got PSM members in like New Zealand and Australia and Ireland. Some of them might be coming to the event as well. So it's going to be really cool to see everybody in person in Coeur d'Alene, probably one of the coolest settings anywhere in the United States. So I'm excited.
Yeah, same. I think just meeting everybody too. We're in such a small niche, you guys. Like, there's only a handful of people in the world that like we're all going through the same thing. So just being able to forge relationships and meet people and have the opportunity to talk about something we're all working on, which a very small percentage of people are working on, is just cool to me.
Yeah. I mean, at most, there might be, what, a couple thousand pooper scoopers, if that. Like, if you look at any other trade, like lawn care, electricians, there's like millions of them nationwide. So,
Yeah.
Pooper scoopers are still pretty rare. Even though it might seem like there's more of them than ever, it's still just nothing compared to other more established industries. I'm new here. No one currently doing it here. How to build my clients and make the service make sense to where they feel it's a need. Well, for some people, it is actually a need if they have service animals or they're elderly or they're working 2 jobs and their kids are too young and they're in daycare. And it gets dark by the time they get home. So for a lot of people, it is a need. Otherwise, there's dog poop tracked in their house, which is pretty disgusting for a lot of folks. So I would say that's the first thing. And the other thing, kind of like when we're talking about the South Africa situation, like you need to make sure you advertise in a way that gets the message out in front of people and is attention grabbing. So yard signs, truck reps, Facebook ads, Facebook groups, those markets, Google ads don't typically work that well just because of the low search volume. But eventually you will want to build that up, but you got to drive that demand first with those other advertising channels.
Yeah, like William said, it's all about the awareness. That's the main key point that we've been kind of driving home here, because this really is one of those things where people, like, they'll know if they have a need. You don't have to tell them per se. They're like, oh my God, this seems like a great service. My kids aren't doing this anyways. Like, I better get a quote. So just getting in front of people is kind of the sales part for the most part.
Yep.
They know they have a problem, right? They just looked at it in the backyard yesterday. They know they have a problem. We just have to get in front of them and be responsive and fast.
Yep. All right. For Irvine, California, how much would you charge per week when starting if it's an expensive living area? You're probably going to be in between $25 to $30 per week would be my guess. So it's going to put you like, I just pulled out the calculator, anywhere to like $105 to like $130 a month. Probably could swing that, maybe a little bit more. That's probably where I would start. It's also always easier to raise prices than to bring them down. So I'm just going to keep that in mind.
Yeah, so if you started at the bottom end, 25 a week, and then next year you raised it $10 a month, you're rocking.
Yep. Yeah, we've never had more than 1% of our customer base cancel over a price increase. We've done 10 to 15% like 3 years in a row. All right. Poop destroyers was never here. Okay. If you're scooping and come across poop from another animal, such as a rabbit, would you leave it or scoop it out of curiosity?
If there's just a few piles, I'm gonna grab it. But I guess a perfect example here is there's just a ton of deer scat, I think they call it, or moose poop, and then like clients will like ask, "Hey, can you do this?" And it's just all over the yard. We'll just let them know, like friendly, "Hey, that's a great question. We're actually just the dog poop pros. That's what we kind of deal with. So we wouldn't be able to accommodate this request. Something polite, something nice like that." So if there's a couple piles, it's not a huge deal. But if it's all over, I'm just not doing it.
Do you do cleanups for the county, like dog parks? So how do you get clients? We don't do that. We just focus on getting more residential clients because it's so easy for us now.
Would they call if they wanted to? Who do you call for that? Is it the city, you think?
Yeah, sometimes they'll put out like RFPs and like government contracts and things like that. But you can definitely contact the city and kind of go about, see what the process is like. Yeah, that's what
you
I
can
would
just
say.
Call the city, say, "Hey, my name is Levi. I actually offer a really fantastic service." And I go, "What is it?" I'm like, "We're actually pooper scoopers. We're dog waste removal. Do you know of anybody I can talk to? Is there any parks around town that just have dog poop problems? I'd love to be the solution for that." And then maybe they'll put you in the right direction.
Yep. 70 people on here. Hit the like button. Oh, we just went from 73 to 67. You jinxed it. How much is the average HOA contract, commercial contract? I want to say ours is like $400 or $500 a month. It's kind of the average. We do have some bigger ones that are 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe not quite 5 anymore. $1,000 a month. So some of them can be pretty juicy. Most of them is just a couple stations here or there, like a small common area cleaning. So I think you're probably $400 or $500.
Yeah, we're closing out one right now that's like $3,000 a month, but it's like 7 acres. So they got a quote last year, and then they contacted us back or whatever. So like he said, $500, but it can be some huge ones with 20 stations or whatever.
Might be a Levi question, but can you explain the best approach to hiring your first helper when you only have enough customers for part-time? Is W-2 part-time best approach or 1099?
I like to go. I don't like to 1099 personally. The problem with some of that things is that you don't have is a lot of less restrictions, right? You can't tell them that they have to work. You can't tell them what time. You're just kind of hoping people show up, right? And so if you're going to go that route, you probably need like 3 1099s, and then nobody's actually getting work, or one guy's just getting work, and the others are just going to drop off. So I like to go the W-2 route always. That being said, you might post a job ad where it's part-time that will lead to full-time. So they already kind of have an idea of what the expectation is. Hey, right now, this is what we have to offer for you. We have about 50 clients or 70 clients, and it's probably about 3 days a week worth of work or 2 days. That being said, as we grow, we're growing fast. We're going to need somebody who's on board for full-time, and just kind of screening and vetting people to make sure everybody's on the same page. The worst thing you can do is not be untruthful, but like misrepresent something like, oh, I just need this part-time right now, and then I'm going to get rid of them and hire full-time. Just have somebody who it's a win-win for both people. You just never know.
Yes. What's the best entity to form? LLC, S corp, etc. I cannot give you legal advice. I usually set up my businesses an LLC, and we typically will do an S corp election on our taxes because it saves us more money. But I can't speak to your individual situation. Definitely be careful about setting up like a sole prop if you have any personal assets versus spending the extra couple $100 to get an LLC. So just FYI. So we're going to be bringing in somebody that can help people set up LLCs and S corps to Scoop Millionaire soon as well. So I guess watch out for that.
Yeah.
On your website, you have the instant quote tool. I believe you said it's via Sweep and Go. We currently have Jobber and have a website on Squarespace. Do you know where or who we could get one from? You can get one from Sweep and Go. I think there might be some other people, or somebody else might have referred me a software service. If you're in PSM, shoot me a DM and I'll see if I can dig it up. I don't remember off the top of my head, but I think there's something that might work with Jobber. But I mean, you're just kind of Frankensteining your software and having a bunch of stuff there. You also might be able to get a developer to kind of custom make you one, depending if you have the budget for that. It could be kind of pricey. Or kind of the other option would be to just transition to Sweep and Go. They already kind of have it built out of the box. So
the bottom line is it's really important to have an instant quote tool though, because like nowadays you go on a website, you fill out a form, they say it just says we'll get back to you when we can. Like nobody wants to see that, right? We want it, we want it now. We're in that day and age, right?
Yeah, I mean that was the biggest reason we went with Sweep and Go instead of another CRM like Jobber, like some of these other ones. Like their intake form is so long that you're losing a lot of people. So yeah, I mean it works, it gets the job done, but there's definitely some drawbacks there. Offering anything else? You also mean offering deodorizer treatment? Yeah, all we do is scoop poop. We don't do anything other than that.
We're looking into it, Paul, though.
Yeah. Maybe put your question in PSM where they posted this link with only 13 minutes left. They might not be able to get down to you, but they were prioritizing. Yep. We always prioritize PSM members, but we will try to get through all the questions. Andrew, haters gonna hate.
That's right.
Our office manager's in the chat. Get back to work, Andrew. All right. What do you do if an employee gets bit by a dog?
Yeah, so this is kind of a hot topic. Let's start first with, should I have my dogs, or should I let my clients have their dogs out or in? It's pretty 50-50 on this one. Like some companies require dogs to be inside, some require them, or they can be outside as long as they're friendly. For us, we can have the dogs out as long as they're friendly. If they're not comfortable with, you got to be careful with the verbiage when you're talking to customers, right? If you ask them, is your dog nice, or is your dog friendly? They're going to say yes every time. Like, oh, my dog's an angel, and then you get bit or whatever. So you want to be careful with your verbiage. It's like defending a kid, right? Your own kid. So what you say is there any chance that your dog might not be comfortable with a stranger being in the yard? Well, now that you mention it, he might not like the strangers actually. Yes, I'll probably keep him inside. So my philosophy on this is if bites are going to happen no matter what. Okay, it's something you can't avoid. Every time something's basically happened with our company is the dogs were supposed to be inside, the client knew we were coming, and then the 8-year-old opened the door and somebody got bit. It's always some kind of accident where the dogs were supposed to be inside in the first place. So my recommendation is if you do that, people are going to have their dogs locked up all day. Some people aren't going to like that. You're going to lose out on market share essentially. So when somebody does get bit, though, that being said, we will call them, let them know what happened. Hey, instead of texting you when we're 60 minutes on the way, we're actually going to call you, and you're going to have to verbally confirm the dogs are inside. If we don't get a hold of you, we're going to come when you're next on the list, knock on the door. If we can't get a hold of you, we're going to skip the service. You're still charged. We'll come back next week. So basically, they have to confirm that the dogs are inside. And then on the employee side, I'll send them to the doctor if the skin was broken. They have to get a doctor's note to return to work. They fill out an incident report, and then I just make sure they're okay. And if they still want to finish their route, great. If they want the day off, cool. And then I do frequent check-ins to make sure that they're doing all right. And also, hey, has there been anything else sketchy on your route? And just trying to really problem solve that for them.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't happen very often, okay? But when it does, you got to be on it.
Mm-hmm. Does it hurt to ask a customer to put up aggressive dogs? So I'll let you answer that.
It's all about the verbiage, like I said before. So if you ask them, is your dog not nice or is your dog friendly? They're always going to say, my dog's an angel. But if you have that verbiage, like I said before, is there any chance your dog might not be comfortable with a stranger being in the yard? You're more likely to get the real answer.
Yeah. I guess the other thing too, it's a convenient service. So if you do ask people to put up their aggressive dogs and they got to come home from work or whatever, they might not hire you. So another thing to keep in mind. Love you guys' stuff. It's helped a ton. Thank you. This type of service is new to my area. How to create the need for the service and having them wanting to use it. We kind of answered this a couple times, but it's really just about coming up with advertising methods that get in front of people. So it's going to be Facebook ads, yard signs, door hangers, truck wraps. The more traditional methods for home service companies can be like Google. That's not going to work as well until you build up that demand by getting that in front of people. Starting an extremely snowy area. Do you think it's better to start marketing now or wait until spring is a bit closer? Right now is the best time to advertise. Once April, May hits, the demand's going to drop off pretty much nationwide for a variety of reasons. But I definitely start advertising now. And as soon as the snow starts melting, that's when you're going to want to deploy most of your budget because that's the peak poop pain season.
Yeah, because if you get a lot of snow, your slowest time is going to be the dead of summer, July, August. Everybody's at the lake cabin. The dogs aren't going potty in the yards. They're not even home. They're in the yard every day. They don't need us. We'll come back when it gets colder in October. It's basically the same thing all over again.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Building a minimum viable product, get things off the ground, but setting things up with the goal of eventually using a CRM like Sweep and Go. How many clients would you say a CRM would be necessary? It's going to depend on you and just really how much time you're spending on everything. For us, we actually had a CRM, I think, before we had any clients. We basically didn't have Poop Scoop Millionaire. We didn't have a lot of resources out there. So we kind of took the software and we saw, okay, they take gate photos. Oh, maybe we should use disinfectant. Maybe we should route this specific way. We kind of reverse engineered the business with Sweep and Go ourselves. With that being said, it really just is going to come down to how much money it costs and how much time you're spending doing those various tasks, whether it's routing or billing or customer onboarding or automating reviews, all those kind of things. So, yeah. And if you're Poop Scoop Millionaire, you get 50% off your first 6 months. So there you go. Little promo.
I think a CRM in general is important too. I mean, if you think about it, like 3 clients or 2 clients pays for the membership anyways.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I would much rather just myself have a clean start where I know I have the billing, the routing, the client onboarding just taken care of from day one.
Yeah. I've started multiple multi-million dollar companies, and all of them I started with a CRM from day one. I also knew we were going to grow pretty fast. So again, it's really your budget and how much time you're spending on stuff.
We are lucky too that these CRMs don't break the bank. Like Sweep and Go is really cheap relative to other, like how much do you pay for Service Titan or whatever you have?
I pay like $5,000 a month for my other CRM.
Yeah, that was like right off the bat, it costs that much. It's crazy.
So yeah. So the Pooper Scooper CRMs are a bargain at the moment. What's the answer about reviews? Sweep and Go integrate with Google so the customer can give a Google review. So Sweep and Go has an open API and webhooks, so you can actually connect it to the Nice Job software that we use, or you can connect it to Go High Level or any other your text messages, emails. You can set up your own sequences, and you can pull that data from Sweep and Go, pretty much whatever you're using. Ask them for help on that, though, not me. How many times have you had to run from a dog?
Personally, like 5 times. I've been bitten like 4 times in 4 years. It's pretty bad too, because like every time I go out for some reason, I just get bit. I like rarely go out ever. But yeah,
Yeah.
I've gotten trapped in a yard a couple times in a corner. Like the little kid let the dog out and nothing happened, but I was just like sitting there trying to call the client because I'm in the corner of a yard.
Yeah. Is warmer weather a better service area or worse revenue wise? I don't know if it matters a whole lot. I think your revenue, you're gonna have more spikes in colder weather with snow. Your revenue is gonna be a lot more spiky because we're gonna have that quarter 1, we're gonna have that spring rush, we're gonna have that snow melt off, that peak poop pain season. Whereas warmer climates might not have that. So I don't know if it matters a whole lot. It's just gonna be different.
Yes, imagine a warm weather. This is I assume how it works. Like you said, a roller coaster. So us might be right, and then just it might just be a bell curve as with warmer weather. It's just a consistent acquisition.
Yeah. Do you pick up all poop in HOA or just deal with waste stations? Yeah, we'll pick up common area. We'll actually even pick up like the manageable trash also. So if they have like a soda can or something thrown out, we'll pick that up. Just keep the property looking nice. Just a little value add. Doesn't take much extra time if we're walking it anyways.
Not like cigarettes or anything that's annoying to get, but like you said, just pop cans or something easy. You can just scoop real quick.
Yep. Cyrus, I need you guys to hold a VIP ticket for me. We have, I think there's like around 10 VIP tickets left. They're like pretty much almost sold out. So you probably got another week, 2 max to get a VIP ticket. Unless I just said this and everybody buys them right now. But yeah, there's around 10, maybe a few more, a few less, somewhere around there. Last time I checked. So for ScoopCon, show up to ScoopCon. It's gonna be cool. All right, just tuning in. Do you think a CRM is needed at day 1? No, I don't think it's necessary. It is nice to have though, and it could save you a lot of time and help you not have to repeat a bunch of stuff later on if you got to transfer all your clients into the CRM and like transfer all the billing and get everybody's credit card information again. It's just going to be a hassle to have to do all that twice. And like I think you get a Sweep and Go account for like $29 a month when you're first starting off, and if you're a Poops Millionaire member, you get 50% off your first like 6 months. So you're talking like $15 to get it set up right, like from the first time. So I would, but it's definitely not necessary. You can run it in Google Sheets and use some free tools to do your routing. You're just going to have like a gajillion different places you're going to need to run around to make things work.
You're gonna have a headache probably around 25 clients. Right around there is probably where you're gonna start to be like, so something like that.
Yeah, and then you're gonna have to track them all down again and put all the new information into the CRM. So yeah, up to you. It's really a time to money scenario. If your time is worth less than $15, then I mean, you just do what you got to do. What's your thoughts on having just a tier 3 pricing plan? So a low tier, medium, high price. So there's just 3 options. Do you think that would increase conversions? Yeah, I do. We're actually working with Sweep and Go right now to be able to offer multiple options at the same time instead of just putting in, we got 2 dogs and we want weekly service. It's going to say, okay, you got weekly, bi-weekly, monthly. Here's your 3 options. Which one do you want to go with? Providing options definitely would work better in my other companies. I got an electrical company, garage door company. We always try to give options. Then it's not like a yes or no situation with the customer. It's like which option works best for you, and it kind of de-escalates some of those moments.
Not to mention in the future, maybe they forgot, like let's say there are weekly cleanups. You can save cancellations or you can downsell after that if you have options that are cheaper, because maybe a year and a half ago they signed up for weekly. They've been on the schedule for $110 a month. They try to cancel and they say, oh, it's just not in the budget right now. Well, hey, I don't know if you remember the conversation from a year and a half ago, but we actually have other options for you. Like we have a once a month plan for almost half that. It's like $60 a month. And then they signed up for that.
Mm-hmm. What's the best way to accept payment when starting out? Square, PayPal, Cash App. We just start off with Sweep and Go from the get go. If you're using another software like QuickBooks Online to do your bookkeeping, then you can probably just quote through that. If you're already using something that you can run payments through, I would do that. Otherwise, I don't know if it really matters a whole lot, whether it's Square or Stripe or like whatever. You're just gonna have to process payments any way you can. What's the preferred setting on Facebook ads? How should a potential client respond through Messenger form or funnel the website? I get a lot of clicks, but not much engagement. So previously, we we're running engagement ads to Messenger. Those have been flooded with spammy clicks in the last probably 6 to 9 months or so, or at least the last 3 months, anyways. So your best bet's probably going to be sending people to a lead form, unless you have a really well-developed website. Then you can send people back to your website. But lead forms is what's working best for most people right now. Real time, we just lost a lead due to a competitor's better rates. We are currently charging $100 for one dog weekly in the SLC area. Just starting out, wondering if we need to lower prices for now. I want to make decisions based on losing one customer. If you lose like 10 customers, then maybe reevaluate it and test it out. But yeah, I mean, that happens. There's always going to be somebody cheaper, even if you're charging people $50 a month, like somebody can probably do it cheaper. So I definitely wouldn't try to compete on price with people. It's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So, and they might end up coming back because
right. Or you lost one and then somebody just switched from another company to you guys and you guys are twice as much.
Mhm.
So it's just one of those things.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. How would a company bill without a CRM? Again, you can use QuickBooks Online. You can use Stripe. You can probably use PayPal, like anything you can to process payments. There's a lot of different options out there. You could probably just Google it and get a whole host of them. The Sweep and Go accept a text back from the client after the arrive text.
So what happens is you send the on the way text, and then it gives them a phone number. If you need any help or have any questions, you can contact this number, and then you can actually give it the office number, your number, or the technician's number. I like to give the technician's number because some minor things might come up where they can just work it out. They're on the route anyways. And then you can also set a text as a completed job. So they'll get they'll say, we're done with your cleanup or whatever. Here's your gate photo. Hopefully that answers your question.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you can on the way texts. If you have a holiday, they get a message saying, hey, we won't be there if you skip it. If you need to move a yard back, they'll get notified. Or also when the job's done, it's an option. You can also let them know when the job's done too.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they get the on-way text, it'll be the technician's phone number.
Yep. I wonder if in Florida the service would be more or less desired. I know there's a lot of people starting up in Florida. I think it's definitely popular there. I don't know if there's any like mega companies in Florida that I've talked to yet. But there's definitely a lot of up and coming companies down in Florida.
Yeah, I hear about Florida all the time.
Yep. Will there be a ScoopCon 2026? It's looking like there will be. It's honestly going to be dependent on how many people show up to ScoopCon 2025. If nobody shows up, then we're not going to do it again because I literally put out 50 grand to put this event on. So I don't really like to lose 50 grand multiple times in a row. But it's looking like VIP tickets are almost sold out. We do have a lot of general tickets still available, as well as a few discounted hotel room rates. So if it is something you are interested in going to, I highly recommend hopping on it sooner rather than later. I think the hotel rooms are almost like half off with our room block. So check it out. How do I go about getting Sweep and Go? You just go to sweepandgo.com and sign up. If you are a Poop Scoop Millionaire member, you get half off your first 6 months, though. So just keep that in mind. I'll just drop it in the link here. And then Sweep and Go. I think they got a free trial, too, that you can check out. There you go. Things have to go, but y'all have been helpful. Appreciate it. How do you go about using something to lock the door so the dog won't come out while cleaning to avoid bites?
I don't know if there's a real solution for that because it might not be a door. It could be a slider, so like a glass slider door, right? I know of companies, I've heard of people who put like the wet floor signs or whatever, or they put like a little sticker thing or something on the window so they know that the pooper scooper's there. That might be an option as well. But the best thing I've heard so far is kind of one of those wet door signs. Mm-hmm. Your technician is here or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. Also, a lot of times if they're home, they'll we get the on the way text. And that's why it's so important to send the on the way text as well, because people need to know to put their dogs up if you're coming on the way.
Mhm.
And then if they see the branded truck, magnets, or the fully wrapped truck, they can just see it right through the window. They know we're here.
Yep.
I like to do one of these at the gate, bang the tools, just to see if any dogs run up too. And then you can always peek to see if the dog door's shut or not. We have a couple things we do.
Mhm. Chris, you guys are live. Just tested out the deployment of Sweep and Go and onboarded myself. Your upflip course was great. Went to watch your Facebook versus Google Ads video and found you guys. Thank you. Yeah, appreciate it. Glad you like the upflip course. If you like that, you'll probably like the Poop Scoop Millionaire community on School also. You can actually talk to us directly there. I spend about an hour a day just DMing everybody back their questions. We also have some extra courses there, as well as some community discounts on like bags, ads management, software, things like that. So definitely check that out. This has been helpful. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Teresa.
And then yeah, also this last call on questions. So we'll go about another 10 minutes. So if you guys put questions in here, or we get to the end, whatever comes soon, we're gonna cap it off. So hey guys, PSM member here. I'm currently running Facebook ads with a daily budget of $25 a day. Just launched 2. I got 2 leads that went ghost on me. Is this normal not to get any bites in the first week? Yeah, it's definitely normal to not get bites on the first week. Your budget's kind of on the smaller side also, so it might take a little bit longer to get some results. But if you, what's that? If you spend close to $200-300, you only got 2 leads. I'd definitely look at how your ads are set up, because that sounds like a much too high cost per lead. Where's that? What is 7 times 25? I'm losing it. $175. Yeah, that's still $80 a lead. You probably should see that down like in the $5 to $30 per lead, depending on your market. So I'd look, double check to make sure how those are set up.
And check your creative too, like what kind of ads at low quality, just Photoshop pictures or right. So try to look at the quality of your ads as well.
Yep. Do you guys know if there's a way to force my Sweep and Go website to default to the quote page instead of the default homepage? Yeah, I think there is. I would talk to the Sweep and Go team and see if you can redirect people directly to the quote page. They might have to build out like a little landing page for you to send them there. We actually found we convert better if we send people to our homepage rather than directly to the quote page for whatever reason, but we'll probably test that again in the near future. Thank you guys. Thanks for the info. Definitely join. Today's the first day of Site Live. Awesome. You work 7 days a week as a new scooper, or would you only work certain days? You gotta work as much as it takes. So
if we're talking about routes, Monday through Friday is the cleanest. Right now we run a weekend team because we have so many new clients coming in. We try to separate the big initial services from the regular routes, but only 3 months of the year we run on the weekends essentially. Yeah.
You know how to get in contact with Google. I feel like we've tried everything. I don't have a direct contact at Google, but I do have somebody that is a Google partner. If you're in Poop Scoop Millionaire, shoot me a DM and I'll get you their contact info, and they might be able to help you out. So they may help if your GMB has been disabled or your ads aren't working. Like, they can get a lot of that stuff taken care of for you. Is there a limit in the free initial cleanup? Like if your yard hasn't been cleaned up in a year? It's really up to you. Outside of Spring Rush, we'll offer free cleanups kind of regardless, as long as they're signed up for a subscription. It all averages out at the end of the day. We've even had like year plus people say they haven't cleaned up, and we've gone out there and it's taken like 5 minutes to clean a yard. So you never actually really know until you get out there. You can kind of make your best guess, but a lot of time you have no idea.
It's kind of funny too, because I always tell like my new trainees, I'm like, okay, initial cleanups or one-time cleanups, it's like Forrest Gump, right? You know, the life is like a box of chocolates, so you never know what you're gonna get. It's basically like what it is for these cleanups. It's funny. I'll come to some person's house, introduce myself. I'm like, oh my God, I am so sorry. It's so bad back there. Like, I'm really sorry. Like, please come back to me and I'll give you a tip after the end or something. And then it took like 10 minutes. I'm like, this isn't that bad.
People, they have no idea.
I'm gonna take $100 off your cleanup for you.
We don't really. Yeah. Okay. What else we got? Thanks for the advice. Limit the free initial. Thank you. Cry face. I think that's it. We made it through all the questions. Thank you. How much is Poop Scoop Millionaire? It's $69 a month. If you join, don't like it, there's a 7 money back guarantee. If you don't like it, just shoot me a DM. I'll give you your money back. I don't care. Or you can get an annual membership. It's I think $5.99 a year, and then you actually unlock a bunch of extra stuff right off the bat, as well as some extra annual only courses on top of saving whatever 30-40%. How much easier to having a website integrated with Sweep and Go compared to just having a Facebook page when first starting? It's going to be a lot easier for you and your customers if you have a website integrated with the Sweep and Go. They can just onboard themselves versus on Facebook. You're also not going to show up in Google as well. Your Google business profile is not going to show up as well if you don't have a website. So definitely would put that on the list of things to do. It's not necessarily required when you're first starting off, but it would definitely be kind of towards the top of the priority list other than actually getting customers. I thought about giving my first customer a box of toys. What do you think? Sure.
I think it's a cool idea.
Yeah.
Like dog toys, right? It's the bone and like a cute little stuffed animal, a dinosaur or something, or a squeaky toy. I think it's a cool idea.
Yeah.
I think it's a cool idea.
I mean, it's not even a bad idea to do that for all your customers if you have a little goodie bag, a little welcome package.
A lot of times these dogs, like, there's a bunch of stuffing all over the yards too. Like all their toys are just old and ripped up, and so that's not a bad idea.
Yeah. What information do you put in new ads? So usually we'll start our ad with like a hook. So we'll just say like attention dog owners in Seattle or whatever that hook is, and then we'll kind of draw them in to some pain points like, yeah, we know picking up dog poop stinks, it gets tracked at the house, blah 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 blah. And then we'll just have a couple bullet points like no contracts, like background checked employees. We'll have 3 to 5 bullet points, and then just like a call to action to sign up. And then our ads, typically ads where you have like your employees or yourself with like uniform standing in front of a wrap truck tend to work the best. If you don't have a wrap truck, you can stand in front of like a yard sign or something. Those tend to work the best. But people like to see other like real people. They don't like these high production, like crazy stuff. They just want to see a real like local business and help support them. Tips on converting ad creatives. That was it. Just join the school group. Where do you find yourselves on there? So if you join, you'll get an automatic message from me that you can reply to. And then if you just go to the member section, you can search either me or Levi or Erica or anybody that you want to talk to. Most of the big names in the industry are in the group. You can just search the members, shoot them a DM. And you can talk to the other. I think we got 665 people in there now, which is kind of crazy.
You only have to click the members tab once, and then once you engage with somebody, they'll be in the DMs again.
Yep. Thank you. Yes, dog toys. Thank you for the clarification. Willie, PSM is so worth it. Next week, I'm changing an annual subscription. Awesome.
Thanks, Willie.
Appreciate it. Yeah, the whole thing is I want to make PSM like more valuable to be in it. So I think if you even take advantage of all the discounts, it actually covers more than the cost of membership. So definitely check it out. Like if you're actually in the industry, people stick around in there for a long time for that reason in particular. Perfect. We'll reach out from Scoopy's account. Appreciate it. For ScoopCon, if there is 2 of us, is that 2 tickets or 1 for the company? It would be 2 tickets because we are catering all the meals. Everybody gets a custom Poop Scoop Millionaire jersey. Everybody's getting custom swag. We pay per meal. Yeah, I think our food and drink budget's like $20-something thousand. So we got to pay per person. So how much do you guys spend on Facebook marketing a month? Depends on the month. Honestly, over the summer, we don't even run Facebook ads just because our cost per acquisition has gone up so much. We're going to test that out again this year with the new website. In the wintertime, I will spend a lot. I will spend as much as I can, as long as our cost per acquisition kind of stays in track. I don't know. I probably spend as much as $50,000-$60,000 a month on Facebook ads. Sound right? Yeah.
You just have to closely keep track of your numbers, right? The cost per acquisition, is it worth it? And then you can keep scaling it up from there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, it's really just a numbers game at the end of the day. So until you start breaking stuff. Because if you get too many customers and you got to buy trucks and you got to hire employees and you got to have operational processes, so things definitely start to break when you spend a lot of money, even if the numbers make sense. How much you guys spend? Okay, how much is a room for ScoopCon at the hotel you guys are at? I think you get a room for like $220. They're normally like $350, $400. So we got like pretty close to half off with the room block, while rooms are still available on the block. So super awesome hotel. It's like right on the lake. You can do parasailing. You can rent a boat. You can rent a jet ski. There's like a zip line right down the street. There's a bunch of like water parks, hiking trails. Yeah, it's really like a resort town. There's like hundreds of miles of like biking. There's like a ski mountain they converted into a mountain bike park. There's the Silverwood theme park. I mean, there's a ton of stuff to do. There's a spa. There's golf courses. All sorts of stuff. A lot of celebrities actually come there over the summer. So cool spot. How often are the client's dogs harassing you as you work?
Harassing? It's not very often. It depends on the time of the year when dogs are even outside. If I were to go out in the wintertime, I mean, it's probably if I do 30 houses in a day, the dogs are probably out like in 4 yards. It's not that often, to be honest with you. A lot of people just keep their dogs inside when it's cold, maybe 5 times in 30 yards. In the nicer months, maybe it's like a third, 10, 12 houses have their dogs out. And then harassing, it doesn't really happen that often. I mean, my definition of harassing, I did a yard one time. The dog was like my size, was trying to hump me the whole time, and I couldn't like do anything. And so I had to let the customer know. I was like, "Hey, your dog's kind of mounting me, and for like 10 minutes straight, I can't do this. Can you put him inside?"
Wow, you were out there for a long time, bro.
Yeah.
I have some concerns. All right. What do we got? I lost my spot. That's awesome. Thank you for being open about everything. You're welcome. Thanks for watching. Who developed your awesome website? So the Sweep and Go development team actually built our website. We got custom photos. We got Erica. We flew her out to help make some videos. We got custom graphics. We got a copywriter write a bunch of stuff. So there's a lot of different people that went into building the website. If you're looking for a similar website, we spent over $30,000 for ours. So I don't know if that's necessarily something that you would want to do if you're first starting off. You can get some themes and some other stuff for a lot less money that can do a pretty good job as well. We just wanted ours to be the best, so that's why we invested in it. Can you explain a little bit why once a month cleanups are lower in cost? I figured it would take longer, so you should charge more. We do charge more per cleanup, but it's less per month. So we charge a lot more per cleanup for once a month. For our weekly is like $25, and our once a month might be $60 for one cleanup.
Yeah, so the less you come out, the more profitable it actually is. If you think about it, so if we're offering weekly service, let's say it's $100 a month, right? That's 4.33 visits on average. So that's 4 times the gas or whatever, right? If you're coming in once a month, it might be $60 a month. So if we're doing weekly service, we might be working for $90 an hour. But if we come in every 2 weeks, we're working for like $110 an hour. If we come in once a month, it's like $130 an hour. Because I guess the way it maps out, an easy example of that would be, let's say we come in once a week, it takes 15 minutes to do the yard. If we come in every 2 weeks, you'd think it would take 30 minutes. It's twice the amount of work. It's something like 23 minutes. So you actually get that 7 minutes back, and that's why it's more profitable.
Mm-hmm. We need a comedian for ScoopCon. I think we might have one. I'll let you know. It might be in the works. We got some people coming out from New York. Yeah, it'll be good. You guys are awesome. Thanks for taking the time, giving us faith and encouragement. Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Wes.
Is insurance needed for scooping, and what type, if so? Might be a little bit different from whatever area you're in. We always get general liability. And we got business auto insurance, obviously. Depending on your state, you might need like workman's comp if you have employees or like whatever. So we also have an insurance broker. If you need their contact, you can just shoot me a DM in school and I can get you connected. I think they can write policies in most of the country. My clients pay through Stripe already. Can I import them to Sweep and Go without re-entering their info? Maybe. There are some payment processors where you can do that with Sweep and Go, but not all of them, and you check with their team. What's up, Millie? Thanks, you guys are awesome. You're the best. Appreciate it. I think that's it, guys. We answered everybody's question that had them. So I appreciate everybody checking out the video. How about diarrhea? Okay, last question is diarrhea.
Okay. So if you have the Corona extendable cultivator hand rake, Corona GT 3050, I think is the item number, 19193. That does a great job of cleaning it up. If there's like residual piles back there, just have them hose it off, I guess. We've talked about this like 4 times in the last hour, so I just go back and watch the recording. I had a way better answer back then. Sorry.
Yeah. So the recording will be live here, and you can check it out again. So appreciate everybody. Hunter, your technician, take a company truck home. Yes, and yes, we have something that monitors where the truck is and their driving behavior and dash cams and all that stuff. So awesome. All right, appreciate you guys. Check out the recording if you didn't catch the whole thing. You can catch us in Poop Scoop Millionaire if you want to talk to us directly. If you want to see us live in person, you can go to scoopcon.com. Get some tickets in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho in May. So it's coming up pretty quick, a couple months away. Mm-hmm. So hope to see you guys there, and hope you guys have a great day and happy scooping. See,
take care, guys.